I was very much aware of how important that photograph was. We spent an enormous of time deciding how Jane was going to look.
The photographer said that it was a very special technique and I had to look in a special place and then it would look as if I was looking at whoever was in the room at any angle. I have no idea how he did this to this day. And everyone was so intense because we hadn't started shooting the movie yet. I mean, this was sort of one of the major parts of the performance, was that picture. If that picture wasn't magical, if it didn't summon you in, then the whole movie was kind of pointless.
Christopher Reeve had a request. He didn't want to see the photograph before, so we had covered the photograph. There was a little cord attached to it and a signal. You know, someone unveiled it so that when we got that reaction on that moving shot on his face when he first sees the photograph, when he turns around, it was legitimate. What I had in mind was like an invisible magnet which was pulling at him, and he becomes aware of it, and then he turns around and her face pulls him into her.
There are moments in real life when suddenly you see a picture or an actual person and you're absolutely transfixed. And something comes over you that's very surprising. And you want to know more, you know, you want to spend more time, you want to find out more. And I've had that happen to me in real life. And looking at the picture, it wasn't difficult at all to have the same experience, you know, because she's amazingly beautiful.
When we discussed the scene, I said, look, I'm going to use this magnet approach that it pulls him in, and there should be a very ethereal light that falls on the photograph.
So we put some little smoke in the air, and we could see this shaft of light. And to have it flare out as he walked through it, I had the light set so it would hit the lens as he walks through the light.
But because we were not back in Hollywood on a set where you can do everything, but we were shooting in a real hotel, he was limited. So when Richard Collier, he's blinded, that was added optically afterwards to enhance what already was existing. We were all very keen on the idea that what he falls in love with is her looking at him with love. But of course, when he falls in love with her, he doesn't know it. So we did the black and white photograph first, because that had to be done before we started principal photography. And then what we did is we restaged the scene when I took the photograph. You know, when he comes backstage and suddenly he sees her there and she turns her head. That was the key.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Hold it.
She turns her head and looks at him. And that moment, you recognize the expression you saw in the photograph.